welcome back to our channel. We're the Garso Twins. I'm Britta.
And I'm Carli.
If you're new here, we would love it if you would subscribe down below.
Today we have a fun video. We were sent the new Ilia powder, bronzer, and highlighter, and we wanted to review them for you guys since I know you guys are probably interested in them because we were interested in them. So let's get into the review. Okay, so first of all, the package came with this little insert that says, let's talk about talc. And you guys know I have a talc allergy, so I gave it up probably, I don't know, maybe even like 4 years ago. It's been quite some time. And Ilia has been one of my favorite brands, if not my favorite brand. Ilia and Bare Minerals are probably like my two favorite brands because most of their powder products, well, I think all of Ilia, all of their powder products are talc free. So I can use them and the performance is amazing. And so when they sent this little card, I just thought it was like so fitting for me. And honestly, I was so excited. The day they posted on Instagram, like something's coming in, it looked like a highlighter. I was like, oh, Carli, I think they're releasing a highlighter. And then when we found out it was a bronzer,
and a highlighter,
I almost shed a tear because I have been waiting for them to release a bronzer like since I bought their eyeshadows, and I like realized how amazing their eyeshadows are, and I was like, oh, if they would only release a bronzer. So I was super excited. And then the card also goes into detail about why they choose to eliminate talc. So it just says that talc is a silky soft powder that makes textures extra smooth and easy to apply. It's a naturally occurring mineral mined from Mother Earth and may be contaminated with asbestos, a human carcinogen. Powders disperse into the air where particles can be inhaled, which is more of a concern if asbestos is present. So we choose to forego it and work with ethically sourced mica, which is also amazing because we work in the cosmetic industry and not all mica is ethically sourced. So it's amazing that they chose to do that.
Mica is the ingredient that gives powders a sheen.
So generally, like a shimmer eyeshadow, there's a lot of mica in the formula because the mineral itself has like a sheen to it.
Yes, and just from my experience from transitioning away from talc, most talc-free powders are very powdery. They have a lot of kickback, which I don't really mind, but I know that's kind of a deal breaker.
You can use like cornstarch and other alternatives.
Like bind it together. But anyways, we can get into the review. Would you want to start with the highlighter?
Sure. Okay, so let's see. So we're both wearing both products today. Okay, also Ilia, if you're watching this, thank you so much for sending us each a set.
Yeah, that was so sweet.
Because we do not expect that. We're like, oh, we'll just share, and they sent us each the lightest shades in the range because there's two bronzers.
I think there's 2 bronzers and 2 highlighters.
Yeah. So for the highlighter, we got the shade Decades, and it looks like this. And the compact is the same.
It says Decades. It's described as a soft gold.
Okay, and the compact is the same for both the bronzer and the highlighter. It is this, well, if we want to get into it, it's like a color-injected plastic with this pale, kind of like, would you say like slightly pink tan?
Yeah, I love it. I
really
want
pretty.
to know that PMS code.
It's matte, which is really nice, and then it has silk screen Ilia on the front. It's a really simple like deco, but it's really nice and cute. And then the mirror is huge. Like how big would you say this is? Like this is really
same size
big.
as the compact.
Yeah, it's really big for a blush or a cheek product. I feel like it's a nice size mirror. So Decades looks exactly like it's described as soft gold, which usually
we don't really like gold highlighters because they look too harsh on our light skin.
We also have very neutral undertones, so if something looks even the hair too yellow, it throws off the whole look.
Yeah, it'll just look terrible on our skin tone. But this soft gold shade is so beautiful. I mean, hopefully you can see it on our cheeks.
Yeah, and we will insert swatches.
We'll insert swatches, yeah. It just blends into
swatch
the
it now
skin
just for
so
fun.
well.
Yeah.
It's just such a beautiful, like, buttery, soft formula.
Oh, we're talking about the formula now?
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
Let's get into it. Okay, this formula is incredible.
Yeah.
Powder highlights, I haven't liked one. Like, look, can you see? I mean, we'll insert swatches, but I haven't liked a powder highlight since the Hourglass Metallic Strobe powders, which I only have one of those in my Hourglass Unlocked palette. They actually recently brought that formula back in like the trio, but otherwise it was impossible to find because it was only in limited edition palettes. And that's like it's really hard to describe honestly, but it's high sheen.
Well, that's a baked formula though.
Yeah, it's baked and it's high sheen. It doesn't have a lot of like actual base pigment, so it just looks like your skin is wet.
But for a pressed formula, I feel like this is just very natural looking.
Yes.
But also does have like, I don't want to call it metallic because I feel like that's not the right word to describe it, but I feel like you can see it on the skin, but it just adds a nice like glossy look. It doesn't look like it's a separate part of your skin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it blends in well, but I will call this like a pretty high impact highlighter.
Okay.
I mean, I own a lot, and so basically I like solely use creams now, and some of them are pretty metallic and some of them aren't, but I just like how creams like blend into your skin. But as Britta was saying, like this powder blends like a cream. Like I feel like if I saw myself on the street, I'd be like, oh, what cream highlight is she wearing? Like this looks like it blends in as a cream, but it's really a powder. I don't know what kind of magic is happening in here, but it just blends so effortlessly. I think it's because it's so thin. It's not like a thick
another thing I want to mention is that you can use a little bit with like a flat. I use a pretty dense highlighter brush, so it does add like a bit more product, but you could use like a really thin like fan brush and just add a little tiny amount and it would look more natural. So I do like how it's so buildable that like anyone could wear this formula.
Yeah. But I also, I can see everyone liking this. It's so universal and I don't know, just beautiful. I was shocked. I thought for sure we would both like fall in love with the bronzer and think,
well, I did fall in love with the bronzer.
Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah. But and think it was great, but like kind of like, oh, the highlighter's nice, but I'm like obsessed with this highlighter. It's my new favorite, I want to say. It's so good. The color is so good. Just how, oh, and it wears really well. I wore it, well, I'll actually mention this now. When we first got the PR package, I only had the Ilia skin tint on because we were just working from home and I just had like a light layer. I didn't even powder it and I just couldn't wait. So I went in with both of these products over top and they both didn't drag at all. And if you guys know, the Ilia, I'm wearing it today as well, the Serum skin tint is very dewy.
Which also, you guys have been asking what shades we wear in that, and I think that the shades are very forgiving because of the formula. But we can write them down below.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm wearing it today, but I actually did set it with powder today, but that day I didn't. And I went in with these products on top and they didn't skip at all and they just blended so effortlessly. So I was really shocked. I can also insert that photo because I put it on our stories of me wearing them that day. But yeah, the highlighter. Is there anything else you want to say about it? Oh, the price.
Oh yeah, we should probably mention the price. Okay, and the price of both of these is $34 and you get 6.6 grams, which is a pretty good fill weight. I feel like this would last you a really long time. Now for the bronzer, so this is the Ilia Drawn In Natural Bronzing Powder. So our shade is Drawn In. It's for light to medium tan, and then Novelty is a medium to dark tan. So they're only 2 shades. However, I do feel like because this bronzer is pretty neutral, that it could work for a variety of skin tones. Because even on us, I feel like right now, because we're so pale, it's like a little dark, but it's not too dark, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I actually find, I don't know if you find this, but I actually think the bronzer is even more buildable than the highlight. Like, you can get a very sheer layer with this.
But I love bronzer, so I really loaded on
the swatch, but we will insert close-up swatches, of course.
This formula, so like I mentioned, a lot of talc-free powders that have a lot of kickback, and for me, I use a pretty fluffy brush, so when I put my brush in here, like a lot of powder kicks back, which I don't mind because I'm so used to it at this point, but it's almost like a pressed pigment if you've ever like used a pressed pigment. So just beware that I think because of that, you might go through the product quickly, because I did want to mention, you guys know I love the Lawless Summer Skin bronzer, and like I haven't had it for that long and it's kind of almost gone because the formula is very similar where it just a lot of it disperses.
How much is in there?
This is 11 grams.
Oh, this is 6.6.
This is, but I think this might be more expensive.
It is more expensive.
It's a little more expensive. I will say, so I just want to compare the two from the start. I'll insert a swatch of each because the first thing I noticed when I tried this Ilia was that the formula was so similar to this Lawless bronzer. However, I have the shade Golden Hour. I believe she only has 2 shades as well.
Yeah.
And this shade is a little too deep for me, so I did kind of like that the Ilia shade was more suited for my skin tone, because in the Lawless range, I couldn't find like a perfect shade for me. And like we mentioned, the Ilia is a bit more affordable. But the compact is kind of similar. This has a magnetic closure with it, which is nice. But overall, I would say I do prefer the Ilia. I just wanted to compare the two because of the shade. But I find the formula so similar. Like Carli said, this blends so effortlessly on the skin. I feel like a little goes a long way. Yeah. Like I use a really big brush to put on bronzer, and I like dip it in there just a little bit on like the very top, and then I tap it off, and I feel like I can do both sides of my face, whereas even with this Lawless one, I feel like I have to use a little more product to build it up.
I use a very, like, it's a duo fiber, like, large brush. So I actually had to dip in twice because it doesn't pick up a ton of product. So that's why I said it's very buildable, because I feel like you could use a brush like that isn't very dense at all and get a very light layer, or use a more dense brush and, like Britta said, get enough product that could even be put on both your sides of your face, because it's so blendable that no matter if you use like a little or a lot, like it'll blend out.
Yeah, I think that's what surprised me the most about this formula. Like usually, just to compare the two, just because I'm assuming a lot of you that are interested in Ilia also like the Lawless brand. So when I use this bronzer, I definitely would have to like, I could do both my cheeks, but then when I go to bronze my like forehead area and my neck, I would have to re-dip back in and then blend it out, just keep blending. And with the Ilia, I like literally just dipped my brush in once, and then I could do my whole face essentially, which I've never experienced that with any bronzer. I don't know about you.
Oh, the Hourglass bronzers are like that.
Okay, but again, that's a baked formula, so I feel like they don't really compare. It is talc-free, but they're just so different. Like the formula itself is so different. But for a matte bronzer, I've just never had that experience, and it literally blended out so effortlessly. There were no streaks left on my skin, and I've been using the same brush for years with like different bronzers, so I definitely think that's an attribute of this product. It's so beautiful. It also, I feel like, leaves a little bit of a sheen on the skin.
Definitely.
It
I was
look
gonna
like
say,
a flat matte.
I think because of the mica, there has to be quite a bit in there, because even though it's matte, like, I don't know if you can tell. Like we said, we'll insert swatches, but there's definitely a sheen on my hand. It's not like a flat matte, like you said, which is like how powders with talc or other like matte minerals are. But I think because of the mica and probably some other ingredients they put in here, it just kind of elevates it and makes it a bit more like skin-like.
Yeah.
It looks like your skin. I actually think it's the most skin-like bronzer I think I've ever tried.
I love it so much.
I love it so much too.
10 out of 10.
I know.
Both of these products,
I know.
honestly. You know we're so picky, and I feel like we sing, for Bare Minerals and Ilia, I feel like we sing their praises so much that it almost seems like unbelievable, but like they just keep releasing such good things.
Yeah, and we almost like, I was like, oh, should we even film a video on these? Because we are just gonna like rave about them for like 5 minutes. It'll probably be pretty short, but we are so picky that when we find things that we like love, we want to tell you guys about them, because I think both these are worth your money, like 1000%.
For sure.
And I think that they're going to be available on Sephora in like about a week, like on the 27th maybe. Does it say it on there?
No, it does not.
And I think the Sephora sale will still be going on, so you could wait until then to buy them to get a discount. I'm not positive if it's the 27th. We'll try to link it down below if we know the information, but
we highly recommend both of these. Sorry if this video was all over the place. We wanted to get all of our thoughts out, but if you have any further questions on these products, let us know down below. We'd be happy to answer them. And let us know if you tried them, because we can talk about them together, rave about them together. These will obviously be going in our April favorites.
oh my god. Yes. So far, my favorite launch of 2020.
Yes, I would say so too.
Which, you know, this has been
love.
a year, like a complicated year. So I think that there's more to come in the makeup world through the end of the year, but this is definitely my favorite so far.
So thank you guys so much for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed this kind of all over the place, but hopefully informative review, and we'll see you next week.